Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for joining with me, Bu Elo, in the class of qualitative methods in education. Yeah. So here in 13 slides, okay, around 10 minutes, we would like to share about the idea dealing with the interaction analysis. But before that, we have to recite Umul Kitab to start ya our business. We have to pray together, please. Okay, thank you. Starting from this meeting, this is the fourth one. We have to make a kind of nuance that the theoretical background of the qualitative research will be added with the real example. And after this, I would like to show you the updated interaction analysis as one of the traditions in qualitative methods, okay, with a certain article. Let's take a look at the first one, yeah, after having the title here. Now we move on to the idea of interaction analysis itself. So, what is meant by interaction analysis and its function? That's why it aims in observing, unitizing, and coding naturally occurring behaviors. So, this is okay, the basic function, the basic aims or objective of this tradition. And then, knowing about the items here, there will be student stock, okay. And then about the teacher stock, direct influence and indirect influence. How about the system? So most of the researchers doing research in the interaction areas, they use the Flints. Okay, yeah. So there are some points here. We would like to count the total numbers. Okay, welcome to the 14 points in the Flint system. The first is deals with feelings. Okay. Number two, praises and encourages. Jokes and laughter, uses ideas of students. Repeat students' response verbatim. Ask questions, gives information. Corrects without rejection, gives directions, directs pattern drills, criticizes students' behavior and response, students' response, silence, confusion. So those are the 14 items. Okay. Now, how about the characteristics of communication in setting? Because we know that interaction is communication, and the communication here is two ways, okay? Between the teachers and the students, between the individuals, or maybe among the groups of those two sides. And then the first characteristic says who communicates. Yeah, who then? Yeah. And then the second one is what is the pedagogical purpose of the communication? And then what mediums are used to communicate content? How are the mediums used to communicate areas of content? What areas of content are communicated? And I would like to make the specific characteristic one by one to share the detail here. Only two. Who communicates? Here, in the case of the teacher, an individual student, or a group of students, and also the class. Now we move on to what is the pedagogical purpose of the communication. This is the second characteristics. So it talks about in structuring, soliciting and then reacting and responding. After knowing about the doer, or communicator, and then the pedagogical purpose. Now we move on to about the content. So the content insight or within the analysis of interaction deals with the linguistics, of course, visual, transcribed, okay, or transcription coming from the performance of the communication itself, and then non-linguistic, representational, symbolic, oral, ideogram, written, real, semantic, and paralinguistic. Now, how about the uh, communicate areas of content? Okay, so the first is attend, differentiate, examine, label, keywords, question, relate, interpret, combine, paraphrase, transform, characterize, evaluate, illustrate, present, change medium, state, explain, represent, imitate, and the last is sub and change. Now here, what are the areas of content being communicated? And then I would like to make the two columns because there are so many items here coming from the language systems, grammatical, meaning, sound, life, imagination, public, social issues, administration, teaching, contextual, literary, mechanics of writing, speech production, formula, personal, skill, procedure, class social behavior, and the last is subject matter. Now we move to the categories. The categories in the interaction analysis, okay, there will be the first is elicitative, the second is response, and then the last is evaluate. Here, the elicitative, and the first one is specific information, and also general ones, clarification, elaboration, repetition, recommencement, confirmation, complete response, and correction. How about the response? Okay, it deals with in giving complete response, the partial so, or maybe no response at all, in continuous responding, questions, and also the comments. Talking about the third one, it is the evaluate. Okay, the first is the accept response partially for that one, or rejects the response, or maybe there's no any feedback, therefore there will be gives no feedback here at the fourth item, and then the last is reacts to behavior. Now I would like to show you about the example. This is the real research talking about analysis of classroom verbal interaction using facts. What's that? Flinders Interaction Analysis Category System. Okay. But previously we have the Flynn, and could be this is the updated one compared to the previous. By Rizkia and Salama 2023. Okay, this is the good reference. Okay, you would like to cite, for example, if you are interested in the same area of the qualitative tradition. Now we took the abstract one, okay, and then we know that the keywords, okay, you may focus to those three, okay, items. The first is of course interaction, verbal interaction, and classroom interaction. So here the writers or the researchers trying to show about what? About finding out teachers students talk characteristic during the classroom interaction. Yeah, by using VX and to find out the dominant talk between teacher and students in classroom interaction. So comparing which one is the dominant. Now let's go to the method. Okay, here the example of the method actually. So this research was qualitative one to describe the interaction between teacher and students in the classroom. The teachers or the researchers here use descriptive study, interview, observation, and recording data were used to collect the data. The researcher analyzed the data through Flinders formulation and Flinders interaction metric. as shown below. So talking about the metric, okay, it should be categorized into the table with its specific items. Seems like teacher indirect talk, teacher direct talk, and also the students talk. For the other one, okay, there will be student talk response. Okay, I think that's all. Talking about the theoretical point of view and also the real example in doing the interaction analysis. Okay, as the one of the qualitative research tradition. Okay, thank you so much for joining with the video. See you in the next one, the fifth one. Okay, I would like to say goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.